Welcome back to another episode of Worship Tech Tour. We are here at Calvary Church in Jupiter, Florida, the beautiful Sunshine State. And we have Matthew Shalmo. Dude, I always blank. This is the second video we've done.
Okay, it's good to see you guys again.
Worship pastor, what's your title?
Yeah, worship pastor here at Calvary Church.
Yes, so dude, tell us what we're looking at. I actually want to start outside because when I pulled up, I was like, man, this is a nice building.
This is a brand new building. We came in November 2020, right before Christmas. The world was shut down, but we kept on going with the construction. We have a 750 seat auditorium. We have a great group space in our other buildings. We've got a great kids ministry. We wanted space for people to gather and to socialize in between services and after services. Got a great cafe for them. Our pastor loves to bless our congregation, so everything's free. All the drinks, the coffee, the cookies, fresh baked cookies. We just have a very generous church, and let's go see it.
Let's show them, because this is I just love it. Like, I want to just give other people a perspective if they're thinking about, if they're going to build.
But first, check out these fans up here.
Oh wow,
that moves some air during the summers down here. Isn't that great?
Yeah, because it is, guys. Right now it is March.
It's 79 degrees.
79 degrees. Got the green vegetation, the blue skies. That's why I'm moving to Florida. Yeah. So, all right, we've got.
This is our lobby space. We have, in between services, we do a 15-minute turn between services. We used to do a 10-minute turn in our other building. We did 4 services. Since being in this facility, we can hold a 15-minute turn with our kids check-in. That's the biggest thing, that why we give more time, is for parents to get their kids, and for people not to feel rushed to leave. So you're catching us on a Thursday. We're just kind of getting things ready for Sunday here. But down this way is our cafe. We got a full espresso bar. You can grab anything in there on a Sunday. We got a great team, a hospitality team that run that. Full soda machine, and all waters here. Everything is just...
It's all free, right?
All free, yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Great, love it, man.
Love it.
Yeah, I just want to show people that I love nice lobby entryway, fellowship hall, foyers, whatever church slang you want to use.
Sure.
Into the worship center. So 700 seats, right? Or 750?
750 is the capacity. Yep. And we have we're about 80 to 90% full on any given Sunday. For Easter, we're going to do a Saturday night service and 3 in the morning.
Okay, all the commenters are going to be like, there's so much haze in there.
We don't usually do this much haze. We just left it on accident, and it's, Thursday air conditioning doesn't clear the room too fast.
Oh, that makes sense.
So what we like to do is we like to have the haze cleared by the pastor's message. I don't want the beams of the projectors even to be shown. And that's just so it just minimizes distractions. And the purpose of haze for us is so you can see the 3-dimensional movement of the lights. You see some texture, and it just adds an extra effect. We're using JH lights. These are Versa Advances. We're using intelligent profile spots, some minis, and it creates a great look for us.
Yeah, we'll get into all the deets of lights here. Probably in an hour from now. Yeah. This video is going, who knows how long. You get lots of cool stuff. So tell us, like, you get to build a church, kind of from scratch. Like, what were the conversations like, thinking about how do we design a worship center? Like, what were the certain values that you had as you approached that? So
let me bring Steve into the equation with this. So this is Steve Sweeney. He was working with Avenue Systems, our integrator, for how many years?
2 years.
2 years.
2.5.
2.5 years before they even showed up on site to install anything. So he was a part of the all the integration and just the programming for this facility. So this is Steve. He was on our production team for 6 years. He led our production team, and now he's the what's your new title?
Director of Projects.
Director of Projects. He just keeps on getting upgraded with these titles. At Avenue Systems is the integration company that did this building for us.
So the joy about Calvary was that we were able to start from scratch. So we found great ways to complement what we wanted in the design phase, so before anything was built. So, and when you work with an integrator, that's one of the joys you get, is that you're starting from scratch and you have professionals who've done it before who can guide you along the way. But one of the biggest things we wanted to do is we knew who we were as a church at the time. We knew that we were a Bible teaching church, and we wanted to be able to provide a great immersive experience for a large audience. So as we were going through the design, clarity of sound was a big part of it for both worship and for the teaching and the message. That was a big aspect. And complementing it for future growth. So a lot of the conversations were around, this is where we want to start, but we know we're going to grow as a church. Do we have the infrastructure in place to make that happen? And that's what happened. So there's a lot of opportunity to take it to the next level, because we thought a lot about the basic infrastructure and getting that in place. And I think that that's probably one of the most critical parts when you're starting from scratch as a church. Start with thinking, okay, what's our entry level, but make sure you've provided those next steps in your infrastructure. And so a lot of times that's what we do.
Yeah, we have like 5 miles of data, and it's a lot of just extra runs just for future growth.
Yeah, a lot of extra cable just in case, because you never know when that's going to happen. Sure. Yeah. The other thing that we loved was we wanted to create a fully immersive experience without it being over the top. So we opted not to go with LED walls. We went with projection screens as an item. And so it was a creative way to express ourselves. We went with that 5-screen look. And what I like is the customization. And I think that that's what's so critical, is whenever you're deciding what you want your space to look like, you always want to think, well, what's best for our congregation? And since the room was so large, we wanted to create something that gave us flexibility of choice and also create that immersive feeling as they were a part of it. So that's where the environment became so critical for us. We love that. The other parts that were a lot of fun besides clarity was being able to neutralize the space. So we wanted to be able to have a very worshipful, powerful, meaningful music experience as they are celebrating God, but also then be able to just kind of turn that down a bit so that we can focus on what brought us there, which is, of course, the teaching of God's Word. And so being able to neutralize as well as express, and being able to do that interchangeably was probably the most exciting thing to watch. So if we decide, hey, we want to bring a worship song back into a service later in the service, that's not a problem, because we've thought through those steps, and that made it really worthwhile too.
So when you're building a brand new building like this in a space, like, how do you even begin? Like, how do you know, like, okay, we want the room to look like this? Do you find architectural companies, like, hey, we specialize in churches, like, here's some layouts, pick one and go with it? Like, how's that work?
So at Avenue Systems, one of the things we found when we started working with them was they are both a design and an integration company. Yeah. So the design conversations were long and they were very extensive. And when you have that collaborative energy with people who understand what is the primary purpose, they're not coming at you with that, hey, this is how you need to do it, there's no other way. They came at it with, what would you like the space to look like and how do you want to do it? And that conversation allowed customization. So when we brought in, Jordan and said, this is the person we want to help do lights, it was just a seamless integration into a pre-existing system. And that is what I find the best. When you find people who are willing to listen to what you want for your congregation, that's where your biggest win is, and therefore you find your biggest success.
They visited us in our facility to see what we're like, and so they adapted to how we do things. We're a church that has 40 minutes in the Word, and we do 3 or 4 songs of worship, and just so we could fit it in to do another service and to get more people in the door on Sundays.
The other thing that I loved was, obviously, when you're talking about your congregation, how do you want your congregation to respond? And we were very careful that this was not about guessing. This was about really understanding who our people are and what they were hoping for the space. So when we occupied the space, you could just feel that warmth immediately in the room by the congregation who knew this was coming. You know, as the stages of development were happening, as the building was going up, as beams were starting to be put in place, there was a very open atmosphere of letting our congregation see the progress. And as things got closer to the end and exciting steps started happening, like lights turning on or air conditioning happening, there were very big celebratory moments as we got closer to actually occupying.
All right, here's a good look around the room for you guys. Notice lots of absorption panels around the back, and just like hearing the acoustics here as I'm talking, I can just tell it's like pretty, you don't have a lot of random reflections happening in the room. It's also, I wouldn't say it's like completely dead. Like there's some life to it, but
Some good balance to the life.
yeah, so as usual, we'll have you walk us through, Matt, this system. Starting with, let's focus on audio. We talk about PA, we'll go into like the brains of it, the mixing, and then we can move on to the visual elements of your system.
Perfect.
And you know, we'll look at the stage, the band, all the fun stuff. So
Excellent.
let's start with the PA.
So we went with Martin Audio. We went with the CDD line. We thought that was a great line for this room. And we did all of these modeling and spec'd it out to make sure that we were giving the right for coverage in the room. But one of the things we loved was it's a seamless integration. So we have ceiling speakers, front fills, and then we also have the delay speakers. But because of the depth of the room, we decided that we wanted to make sure that the front fills were there, but not noticed. So they're actually a part of the actual flooring, as you can see with the grills. And then we went ahead and did the dual 18 subs, and we ran 4 of those along the side. And so just that attention to detail around thinking about the aesthetic. A lot of people say, oh yeah, front fills, but we wanted something that was seamless. We also, obviously, since they were covered, we wanted that uniformity look for them. So it's all Martin Audio. We run everything on Linear Research amps. So we love the amps that we use, obviously, and then we use the Allen and Heath series. So we chose to go with the full Dante network connection between the stage floor boxes connecting to the brains, and then going back to the Allen and Heath board.
Well, cool. Let's follow kind of the signal path from like, say, a microphone or instruments to, let's go to your stage, wherever your stage boxes are, check out like your racks.
So this is our amp room.
Ooh, very nice.
And in here, we got great cable management. Steve was talking about these amps down here. Go ahead.
No. So we actually calculated it, and we anticipated about 10 miles of actual cable is in here in order to make it all work. But it was that attention to detail and that design of thinking the space with enough growth as we continue to grow. So you'll want to sneak backstage, and you'll want to see the cable lines in the back as well. They're a lot of fun. Again, the flexibility of choice as we think through it.
That's a lot of cables. So if there's enough cable to go to the moon and back, probably. Sure. Jeez. Or what'd you say? Was it how many miles?
10 miles.
10 miles. Okay, definitely not that far, but pretty far. Man, work of art.
But again, you know, having that relationship of thinking through the conduits and knowing what it is that we wanted.
Yeah,
so when we were thinking about conduit boxes, and then we were thinking about, you know, that's a lot of integration with your electrical contractor, knowing what they want, but also, you know, Avenue Systems being very clear as to this is the expectation we have is how we're going to manage your cables. So troubleshooting is not as hard because it's all clearly defined. And a lot of places have this, which is great.
So most of these are the stage pockets.
Correct.
Coming back, and then they're running in here, and then this was the Allen and Heath stage box that we saw in the front, right? So the Allen and Heath GX 48. So is that 48 inputs, 16 outputs?
Yeah, we actually have 64 total, so it extends.
Okay.
As you can see, you can add more. One of the benefits of going with the Allen and Heath, like many, is you have a digital box. And so because of that, it converts here. And from here, it actually goes to the Avantis board or the D-Live board, whatever you choose. So we chose Allen and Heath because we like this customization. We also like the flexibility of being able to manage from here and then just have that quickly impacted on the main board.
Yep, awesome.
So there's no big mega snake of hundreds of cable ending up at the board itself. So we also have, I mean, we have analog redundancy built in just because we do use Dante for our audio protocols here at Calvary. And so.
Yep. So these are just this video I/O.
Yeah, so again, this is one of those opportunities for growth. As you think about it, we thought about, well, we might grow, so we wanted tie lines and ways that we can connect between the different places of the building. But then we also provided plenty of network growth in there, and then we also thought about our video line. So there was a cognizant effort of, okay, the infrastructure is going to give us the growth we're looking for. So as we continue to add end user gear, we don't have to worry about making the connections to that because that's all pre-existing for us. And that was one of those fundamental decisions that I think really paid off for us. Network port's the same idea, and being able to have everything. So everything in our network here is all static IP'd. Everything is all locked as it should be, because then you guarantee that you know what you're doing.
We're using the ULXD4 wireless mics, great mics. We using Heel capsules, and our Sennheiser IEMs.
Very clean rack room. I approve. All right, while we're back here, show us backstage. Yeah.
So our team, worship team, they walk on. I'm a big proponent of the team can manage their own gear. They know they answer their questions before they ask it. Planning Center has this great stage plot that I put the names on, where they're going to stand, what mic they're going to use, and what guitar pack they're going to grab. And they grab their mics, in-ear packs. We provide in-ears for the Shores. I think they're like the $100 IMs. We just provide all in-ears for our team, so they have it. They don't forget it at home. They're not wearing the Apple white headphones, the cheapos, and just have everything for the team that they need, from drinks to snacks, cough drops, Tums, Tylenol, ear picks. So I just want our team to feel well cared for and loved. We provide strings for our guitarists, and have some in-ear vacuum cleaners. These Jody Vacs. Every worship team needs one of these.
Yep.
I mean, it's
nice. Why, you don't like having wax clogging up?
No. I love when the high end just disappears in one ear, right?
And then these Heil. I never heard of these capsules. Like, what's the benefit of?
So this has a short radius where the sound out here is not picked up. Okay. So it's got a very strong capsule, and we changed the furnished capsules out, and this helps with a lot of bleeding into the vocals mics. Yep.
Got some guitars here.
Yeah.
And then we've got, what was it, Trax rig?
Yeah. So this is a mobile rig that I put wheels on this cart, bring it out for rehearsal. This is where I run all my loops. I bus all my tracks between perk, lows, guitars, piano, keys, Vox. Whether I use all those or not, they're already allocated. So like in Living Hope, we didn't have a drummer here on Tuesday night for a rehearsal, so I put drums in, and that tracked right into, or that bust right through our perk. So our front of house engineer was able to mix the drums.
Okay, because you set this up similar to how I do it, but yeah. I kind of don't pay too much attention to buses. I'm sending them a stereo left and right, pretty much of all the tracks, right? Sure. But you're saying you're using the bus feature in Ableton, so individual tracks, the outputs of these go into these buses. Yeah. So then now at front of house they have more to work with.
Yeah. Our vocals, I leave some vocals in the tracks, but what I do is I add some distance to that vocal.
Oh yeah.
So this is clean, and then it just sounds like the congregation is singing along with you.
Oh, cool.
We put all of our MIDI cues in here, Pro Presenter, waves. I fire all my guitar pedals.
So you're doing Pro Presenter automation for lyrics, yep. Waves for your
auto-tune. Yeah. So at the beginning of every song, I want to go to key of G, and I don't have to rely on a sound engineer to jump me. So it helps against user error, and I know it's right every time. And if it's wrong, it was my fault. And then at the end of the set, it jumps to no key, so it takes off the auto tune. And anywhere in the set, I can just throw that MIDI note in there.
And then your guitar, you said?
Yeah, so all my guitars, these are Strymons, and in my, like I can jump to a long reverb, short reverb. The click sends to my rig tap tempo, so my delay's exact every time. It jumps to the right song for me. So every song's built out in a template, so all I have to do is just drag it into my setlist template, and in a matter of 15 minutes, I've got my set done because I've spent time working on that, like on the front end.
Yeah, like that's the value of that automation, especially when you're doing 3 services a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like it must free up so much of brain power, less volunteer required in terms of like, people aren't there like pressing things that you're not having to think about as you're leading your guitar cues. Like it just happens.
And I'm not tap dancing on my pedal board. I've got a huge board, but I stuff it up, away from me. I don't have to touch it at all. I have a loop-to-miss control, so I can fire something or stop something if I need to. They also have that on the Touch OC iPad, so they can stop something for me if I.
Does this usually live back here though?
This lives right here. Yeah, this lives right here.
Because you don't really need to see. You got your loop-to-miss.
So they start the production team. They start the countdown, 5-minute countdown. It starts Ableton at 5 minutes, and I have for the countdown music, I'm playing a loop. I'm playing. So I take out the original MP3. Take out the vocals, and I can warp that song to the first song's key. So, and I know what the transition's like. I hate it when like an MP3 that's playing on Spotify is ending in a weird spot and it clashes with the keys, or there's like it's a quiet moment, or they're jumping to another song and we're ready about to start.
I hate it when there's like 30 seconds left on the countdown, and then some reason whatever random song's playing has like no energy, just drops there, and it's just like super awkward.
Drops. So it creates a consistent environment, and then I send this whole set to our band. I export it as a WAV file and I convert it to an MP3, and they know what the click is, they know what the time, they know what all the transitions are, and that's a 15-minute process, but they come to rehearsal knowing all the transitions, the right keys. They have everything they need to come prepared for Tuesday rehearsal. So.
Dang. We're going to be refreshing a lot of our Ableton content later this year. We're going to hang out with him.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with you guys.
Yeah, pick your brain more about that.
Absolutely. So we walk off on stage here. We have a stage manager that follows the pastor's notes. If he loses a page or he needs something, he'll just bring this out to him, hand that to him. He knows what to clear. And one time our screens went out, so he brought all iPads to us. So we had our lyrics, and it was just seamless. So our vocal team, they get lyrics. In planning center, and I tell them where I want them to come in. So during a rehearsal, I don't have any questions from the team like, hey, where do you want me to come in? What part do you want me to do? They know ahead of time. They get this like a week before rehearsal, and it shows them the exact arrangement, where I want them to build, where I want them to come in. And this is valuable for the team just to be efficient with our time on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, for sure.
We mix with this app with the Avantis in your mix. So each vocalist, each band member gets an iPad, and they can control their own mix through an aux channel from the board. We're using a Yamaha keyboard as our MIDI controller. We're using Mainstage as the DAW. This is a Korg fader controller.
Yeah, the nano control.
Yeah, we got like 30 of these around, and so that every set's the same, and we can just advance to the next song and have it preset sounds, pads, electric piano, and they can control their own tracks here. But this whole unit here is.
I like how you got the sticker power buttons.
Oh man, you just know where it is.
Around. Where's the power on this
Right?
dang thing? It's like, okay, right.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. Dude, I love efficiency. I just want the team to know like how to do things on their own.
Dude. All right. Yeah, let's keep walking through the
Head rush. So we got 2 guitarists that are using the head rush. We build out some sounds, some patches that sound the best based off their guitar, and this is just a great user-friendly board.
I never heard of head rush before. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not that much of a guitar nerd, but
probably about $1,000 or less. You know, it's
yeah.
And they're wireless.
Wow. Okay, cool.
We're using a bass DI, Avalon DI box. It's got some beautiful lows.
Yeah.
We built this drum riser with casters, so the whole front of the drum set can disconnect from the backside, and we could just move that whole kit to the back if we need to, without having to strike one cymbal or a tom or mic, and everything's connected to a loom. That loom is, 50 feet, so we can move it backstage, and we don't have to repatch anything. We can move this across stage if we wanted to, so all of our gear can move wherever we want it to.
Break down the drum set.
Earthworks mics. We just got these this year. They are so clean. They got a great headroom, and they pick up these toms incredibly.
Oh yeah, because the entire set is Earthwork. Yeah. Wow.
We Yamaha Beach custom kit. We've had this for 6 years or so. These Remo Emperor coated heads give a really deep, warm boom to the toms, and we're using Power Stroke coated Remo head, the P3s.
And of course, the drum baffles.
Yeah, man.
Dude, why don't you have your logos on these ones?
So I don't brand at my church. Like I just like it's just kind of like a thing that I just don't want to. I don't want my church to see me like promote me.
Well, these are drum baffles. Go to drumbaffles.com. This dude is the brains behind him. Go check him out. There you go. I promoted for you.
Thank you. So this is acoustic rig, and this is my electric rig. So from here, we're using a iConnectivity Mio XM. This is a MIDI interface. It sends and receives MIDI notes and USB commands. So all my USB commands I can fire remotely. My loop to miss. So song 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stop. I build in an MP3 feature that mutes Ableton's, like I import the original MP3 on the loop, so I can, as a reference, so I can show the band what's playing, how to play it, and then I do a looping feature, so I can loop a certain section of the song, and so that's what the USB feature does. The MIDI sends tap tempo to the disaster area, and then I have 4 channels that send my Riverside, this is my drive commands. Tap tempo goes here to my timeline. This is Strymon's delay, so the tap tempo, and it also changes my settings for me. And then my reverb, Big Sky, it changes from a short, studio to long to a mid-range reverb. And then my Irradium, this is my amp and IR cab. So I don't have a cab in the back with the amp head.
This guy's your amp.
That's my amp.
Okay, nice.
And it honestly sounds better than than my Marshall cab ever did.
Wow. It seems like a really cool hybrid of the analog and digital world.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I jump through different guitars, I can switch to a different EQ band. Our audio engineer doesn't like me doing that because he can't control it. But Phil's amazing. I love him.
Yeah, so people understand the benefits of these eye connectivity devices, you have like you have a network cable running.
Network cable in the front that's on the same network that my Ableton machine's on, and it connects as soon as it powers on, and I connect through Audio MIDI Studio to this unit. There's two ports, one for USB, one for MIDI, but I could have, I don't know how many out, 1, 2, 3, 4, like I can have like 8 ports if I want to control different things just through this. So I don't have a USB cable running from here to my Ableton rig. This just runs through the local network.
Yeah, it's just like a really way more reliable way to send MIDI across the network or from device to device, because you've got different USB. You can have multiple computers talking to this guy, and it's just a more reliable sometimes than the built-in MIDI network too that Apple has.
They keep on sending firmware updates, and I love it because early on it failed a lot, but it's been very reliable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's this guy?
So this is my TalkBack. This is the JR1M remote. So I can switch on my mic. This is a momentary release. So as soon as I release, it goes back to my A channel. So that goes to the back amp room, and that switches at the amp level my mic. The soundboard switches to a TalkBack mic. The band hears what I have to say.
So this is controlling the other. There's another radial device over there.
Yeah, behind us.
This is like that thing that was Wellspring had it. So, and the different. It was I forgot what it was called, but it was pretty much all out of stock. What?
Hotshot?
No, I can't remember what it was. But this is my sleeker way of doing it. So you're saying this is your vocal mic, right?
So no, that's just a controller signal. That's signal that goes to the
That's the
device.
transmitter. We should look at the receiver.
Yeah, you want to go? We can,
Yeah, let's check out the receiver. I want to see that. That looks cool. Okay.
Let's go this way.
You basically have a switcher that's sending a signal on the XLR cable. That routing is hitting this box, and it's basically an A/B switcher. But because we have customization at every box, the box says, oh, okay, and there are 2 outputs. One output is designed to go live. The other output is designed to go for in-ears only. So this just determines the signal flow. Are we going live with this mic, or are we going into an in-ear solution with this mic? So he just has simple foot control to be able to switch back and forth.
Awesome. And so here's the other end of that, right? Okay.
But again, a clear conversation around wanting to make sure we had plenty of network growth, having video SDI lines for future growth. We worked directly with the electrical contractor to make sure that high voltage was provided in each of the floor boxes so we could plug things in. Predetermined XLR inputs and predetermined XLR returns. So many people say, oh, I don't need floor monitors. But in this case, sometimes you need to loop and you're not thinking. But if it's already there for you as a monitor return, you can then do things. Yeah. One example that's very simple would be when you start dealing with third-party events, smaller events, memorial services, or for example, in our case, kids choir, right? They want to get up on stage, and what do they need? They need to hear the music. And a house speaker is not designed for that. Very easily plugging into an XLR return, plug in some sort of floor monitor wedge somewhere on stage, problem solved.
Love to show you a solution that it's a DIY operation to make our hazer spread across the all the screens. Hey Noah, would you mind firing the hazer, please? Yeah. So it goes into this fan booster. So this is a manual booster, and then we took some dryer vent, poked holes in it, Got haze coming through.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. There it goes.
And instant spread.
Yep.
We got 2 hazers on each side, so we just can burst for 15, 20 seconds.
What's this mic for?
So this is another Heel, a PR40. It's just powerful mic that same type of capsule that we're using on our mic heads, our wireless.
Oh, it just looks different?
Yeah, it looks
Oh, okay. This is like for another
for-
guitar vocalist or?
Or talk back, yeah. So something we've done is have, since Ableton fires Pro Presenter, I could put Nashville numbers on the stage display
Yep. Awesome.
and as a stage note.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for 4 years. Yep. No music stand, and it's a good reminder of what's coming up next. This is Noah Plord.
Sub Noah.
Noah is our production specialist, coordinator. He designs all the lighting and PVP assets and Pro Presenter assets. And so we'll show you some of his things in a second. This is our Avantis soundboard.
There it is. Man, that thing looks good.
It's a great machine.
Yeah. It's awesome. Closer look for you guys. We've made other videos featuring this console, closer look, so you can check those out on the channel. What's your favorite thing about this console so far?
It's customizable. We can run our in-ears off of this. For a year, we were running pre-EQ on our in-ears, and this past week we just switched to post-EQ, and I realized how good our sound engineer is, because it's the best mix that I've ever had as leading worship on the platform. Yeah. So it's got a lot of inputs. So we can connect straight into SoundGrid.
Yeah, do you have a SoundGrid card in there and Dante?
SoundGrid and Dante.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I mean, folks, this would be, if I wanted to spend closer to 10K on console, this would be my choice. Just having dual card slot, functionality. Obviously, it's got great hardware, touchscreens, all that stuff. But if you're wondering, like, why would you get this versus an SQ7, SQ series, it's just like, you're definitely getting a lot more input-output features. Probably, I don't know, is the DSP different, better, another level up on these? I'm not even sure. Probably.
That's not my area, really.
It sounds good.
It sounds great. We're using the SQ5 in our online broadcast.
Okay, so this is the same computer. Is it this laptop
Yeah,
here
that
running
laptop.
all the waves?
This laptop controls all the waves, the Super Rack, SoundGrid,
Is this a
and this is just touchscreen. And
virtual sound check setup right here?
Yep. So we record every service and our rehearsals, so we can VSC post. And then this is where we're also controlling our Dante controller.
Oh, yeah.
So all the items that Dante, we can route anything, anywhere on campus. Yeah. We do our lighting in-house, in the booth.
Yeah.
And we connect to our production room, Pro Presenter computer, PVP, QLab, and Livestream. So we are able to remote in to any computer and control it.
Got it. Okay. So these are not. You're just seeing screen like a. Is it screen share? Or what's the? How are you doing that?
This is remote desktop. It's just an Apple native app,
Yep.
and it's like you're there.
Yeah. Totally.
No lag.
Yep.
So at any time we can connect to any of our devices.
What's this?
So this is TouchOSC. This communicates to our QLab. Noah, do you want to talk about this?
So this is TouchOSC. Steve programmed it. You can see in here, this is kind of like our editor. And we can also do it from a computer, and we usually will then connect it to here, and it'll download all of these. But these are all, literally buttons that you can edit and put in here. But basically what this does is these send commands to QLab, which then sends a bunch of more commands to PVP, Pro Presenter, and Grand MA. And so you can see once I hit pre-service, it'll give me like, are you sure? And it'll send a command, and then all of my screens and my lights should change. Let me just turn this off so you get an idea. So like this is our pre-service, and then this will send our countdown. This also sends our Ableton, which I think it's muted. Is your Ableton muted right now?
Ableton is muted. We can turn it on though.
Yeah, turn on the Ableton. So this sends commands to PVP again, Pro Presenter, and our lighting. So we do last few seconds. It'll tell everybody to kind of, stand and get ready to worship. We turn on our hazer last minute 30 seconds. So everything's being sent, and we are able to control it from here. Every week after programming, I'll get the list, and I just circle where my lighting cues are. This one's, we're doing Glorious Day, so like Grave, there's this big kind of drop. And so they're able to just follow this. Yeah. And so we got our Ableton. I'm able to actually control their Ableton, so if I need to jump it, I could jump it here.
Oh, wow.
I can, so like, let's say we want to jump back to song 2. I hit this jump, it's all on tempo.
Oh, yeah.
So if you do it right, it can be seamless.
Yep.
And that jumps our Ableton, it jumps our Pro Presenter, it jumps everything.
Yep.
And so, yeah. And then you're able to control, so we turn on the hazers, we're able to control individual lights. All of it's programmed right in here. So that's OSC, kind of the rundown.
What's this lighting software?
This is Grand MA.
Oh, Grand MA. Okay, cool.
We used to use Vista, but obviously with a bigger facility, Grand MA is like the juggernaut, as Steve likes to put it.
Yeah, totally. Because it's not, but there's no like hardware console. Are these? Is this
No,
touchscreen?
so this is touchscreen.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
basically this is kind of like what you would get with a console, but it's just a lot cheaper,
Yeah.
and easier to work with. I'm teaching 14-year-olds how to use this, and so they love it. We try to do very simple backgrounds. We don't like backgrounds that kind of take away from worship. So we're also working on making custom backgrounds.
But this is all customizable.
Yeah.
So he could jump to he could jump and control my Ableton. He could jump to a song for me, stop it, go back to a 5-minute countdown. And this is just all what our QLab is doing. We've got a lot of MIDI commands to communicate to all of our devices.
Let's talk about the whole projection and visual setup here. Then we'll talk about lights.
So it's 5 screens, all Christie projectors, laser projectors, all independently controlled through PVP. We can send any image to any screen. The good thing about PVP is we can do layers upon layers upon layers. And
Yeah, I always like forget what the actual benefits of PVP are versus like Pro Presenter doing its thing.
Yeah.
Like
so within PVP, you can control masks. So
Okay.
So our targets, our screens are this size, but our masks, we want to make them all uniform. And that's a certain mask, that's the triple line mask. But for our targets, we could tell a certain portion of the service to only go to the middle screen, side screens. And by the time we program it, label it right, anywhere in the service, we could just jump to the first song. Everything will change to however we want it. House bass, these are the smaller projector screens, we call them legs. 3 wide, we can do 5 wide image, and everything on this side is on top of the layer to its left.
So is Pro Presenter sending stuff into PVP first?
So Pro Presenter's sending a keyed lyric,
Okay.
but by the time we get to the message, so for here, we can just jump to pastor's message in our QLab, and we can send a map, and the map will show up unkeyed. So this goes into something we call service fill.
Yep. Okay.
So service fill is different than lyric fill. Service fill shows graphics, and we don't want the image keyed out.
Because that's one of the things about, like, I mean, I love the projection screen layout, but you need something like PVP to control what content's going where when you have so many screens. Because you don't, it's not like you have one simple widescreen or two side screens always doing the same thing. It's like,
I don't think we could do what we do all in Pro Presenter with 5 screens.
no, that makes sense. That's why they made PVP.
That's right.
Okay, got
That's right.
That was the clearest explanation I've had from PVP about what PVP does. So
Yeah.
I don't even think the Renewed Vision guys explained it to me.
No, they're good. They're good guys.
No, part of it you have to
They're
see
good
it.
guys, though.
I think it's
Yeah.
you have to like see it like in action of like, okay, here's a really relatively complex projector setup, and then you can see how it's mapping and masking and all that fancy stuff.
So it's like Photoshop for video. Like it's all about layers
Yep, makes sense.
when you want them to show up.
So why did you guys go with this, the projection setup like that? Like I just
We loved Jordan's LED screens. I just have I would want all the walls covered in LED screens, and we don't have a budget for that. And I think
could have bought another building.
we could have bought another building for that. And this is more economical.
It looks great, and like, just so you guys know, on my camera right now, I have in like automatic shutter speed, so that's why it looks like they're flickering. But in person, it does not look like that at all. And I'm sure with whatever shutter frame rate you guys have, it looks great.
Yeah, our cameras are set right, and even our photographers, they know how to work their cameras to make it not have lines. So the good thing about these projectors is they turn off, and we could move them to a different location. How we've set our stage is I think it's most optimal for the space behind and the sides, so we have some sides space. But you can move this anywhere, and with PVP you can have a screen over here if you want, and we can do full environmental projection.
All right, lighting. So you guys said you're using the JAH.
JAH lights from Jordan. This guy here.
There's
Yeah,
Jordan.
he's a good friend of mine.
He runs the JAH Florida AVL supply cartel.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good way to describe
Through the
it.
Miami ports and everything, right?
Because we're at a TC3 church. I'm not sure which tech tour video is going to come out first, but that's like, what was that, half hour, 45 minutes away. And yeah, man, it's pretty. Just give us a quick like, what are you doing with JAH? JAH, yeah.
The idea and the vision behind JAH is I come from Portable Church. We just launched a portable church. I've been a part of a couple different portable churches, and we wanted to find a way to be able to give creative church technicians the ability to be creative and to communicate the gospel in a creative way, but to do it in an affordable way as well. So we wanted to be innovative, we wanted to have high quality, and we also wanted it to be affordable. And the opportunity to work with Calvary, with Matt and Steve, has been amazing. One of the things that these guys always brought up to me was the importance of versatility and flexibility. And so, for example, our IPs, our intelligent profiles, it's a relatively new fixture for us. Our goal with lighting, because lighting's really, really hard. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of stuff that has to happen. So our goal with lighting was, let's come up with a couple products that are going to be super flexible and kind of meet whatever need is necessary. And from that, the intelligent profile was born. A lot of conversation with Steve. He was talking to me about front lighting and all of the different features they want to be able to do. They don't want a ton of front lights, they just want a few. So we put, I think, 8 up there.
Yep.
So we did 8 intelligent profiles. They're 700 watt LED fixtures, so they're actually really, really powerful LED fixtures. They are 4-in-1s, so they're beam, spot, and wash. So they can get really wide for a wash or super tight for a beam. They also, what makes it the 4-in-1, the profile, is that they have framing. And so we can be really exact on exactly what we want to light up. They also have linear CTO, so we can control the exact color temperature, as well as CMY. They have 3 gobo wheels, 2 prisms, kind of all the bells and whistles that you would expect on a spot. But we actually decided to hang them up as the primary front lighting fixture so that they could point to any position on platform and light it up perfectly for camera. as well as washing the entire stage. And so that was a really important fixture decision in this room. And then the other one is the Versa series, which has been a staple for us. These are the Versa Advanced G2s, and they have been an incredible fixture. They have individual LED control.
Those are the ones on the the floor.
Yeah, exactly. So they're the bigger ones on the floor. They're also up in the ceiling as well. It's 19 LED diodes, and they're all RGBW, individual pixel control with a rotating lens, really wide zoom range. And those have actually been the springboard that's brought us into our newest fixture, which I've messed around with Matt, talking to him about, is the Versa G3, which is the most powerful fixture on the planet in its class, the newer one. So it's a 22 LED diode, 60 watt RGB ACL version. But these lights have been beautiful, super stable for us, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a part of the ministry happening here at Calvary. And again, these are just a really versatile light where we can just put a bunch of the same light on the platform. And then they have the little brother version of them, which is the minis that Matt just lit up. And those are just a smaller version of the same fixture. And we're working on a newer version of that as well. But I just love how these guys have implemented in with the backdrop, with the stage design, the whole immersive experience. It's been super cool and an honor to get to serve them in that way. If I can add, one thing that I think is really cool in the uniqueness of the relationship that we have and with Steve is being able to have direct access to a manufacturer is so huge, because we've gotten so much feedback from these guys about, hey, we love this, we don't like this, or we want this change, and that allows us to go back, work on the product, make it better. And so that's been another cool thing is I'd like to see more of that. I mean, I think we're starting to isolate churches from the people who are actually building the equipment that's being used to serve God. So I think it's cool to kind of bridge that gap of the manufacturing to the end user, so that there's direct feedback, like, hey, we love this, we don't like this, this can be better, and that's been huge for us as well, so that we can better serve the church.
Absolutely.
Dude, why do we have 3 cameras right here?
So this camera here is our money shot. This is our main pastor camera. It's got great zoom and clarity.
C100.
C100 is 70 to 200 millimeter zoom. And then we use PTZs exclusively around campus, on the walls, the back walls, on the sides of the stage, and up here. And that's because we don't want to take up a seat in someone's seat or block a view, because we want people in those seats. There's nothing wrong with having a camera stand, but we have limited space. And that's kind of like overflow from our last building. We had 300 seats auditorium, and it would have taken up 5 to 6 seats to have one camera platform. So we just kept that consistent in this space. So our camera operators are in the production room, and we all talk.
So you said there was 2 PTCs. Why two here? Just one's wide, one's tight, or?
Yeah, and our operator can do different shots and set up the next shot.
Got it. And then you said there was how many on stage?
So we've got one on each of the walls that point down towards the band. But with all of our ports, all of our Cat 6 ports, we can move them anywhere we want.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 cameras?
7. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Nice. Cool, let's go check out the production room then.
So this is, we're connecting to our ProPresenter computer, iMac, PVP, iMac, and our QLab is over here. No one operates this on a Sunday. This is kind of like a set it and forget it.
But are they operating? They're actually operating here though?
So
from up there?
From up there. Okay. So our director is in the booth, remoting in if we need to.
Oh, but it's automating anyway. That's forgot. Yeah. You know. You don't need
so if we need to fix something, or the sermon is manual, so we're up there firing cues. Okay. Our camera operators are over here, picking the best shot, and this feed also goes into our live stream room. And we have another TouchOSC iPad app that has predetermined camera shots, that it's just queuing up camera shots. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do a joystick.
So switcher, camera control.
Yep, PTZ controller.
What's this station for?
This is just another director station for the production room. We use a Mac Mini for that. So yeah, SQ5.
Yeah.
It's a solid board. We use this iMac to control to send our live stream audio to, and we also through the same cable send inserts to Waves. So all of our Waves plugins go through the same cable, and we have no static, no latency, well, very, very little latency.
So is this getting audio over Dante?
Yeah, over
And
Dante.
how does it get the wave? How is it talking to the waves?
So this is through Wave Super Rack. It's a software with the iMac. So we're just connecting USB from this computer into that iMac.
Okay.
Yeah, and using inserts on the channel level.
Okay.
So for online mixing, best thing we've done with our online mix is having buses, and then those buses group into an aux. So like we got a drum group, drum smack, snare smack, LFE group, guitar group, keys group, lead group, background vocal group, and then they get summed after they hit Waves back into drum LFE, guitars and keys, all Vox together and sync. It's just like the kitchen sink. Everything extra goes in that one.
Yeah.
And so it add extra compression, EQ, and it creates a tighter sound in our live stream.
There's a green go.
See?
Green go.
Yeah, green go, not
comms.
green go.
They really didn't think about that.
Well, maybe they did. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh man. All right. And then yeah, a nice multi-view.
Yeah.
And then okay, so audio gets sent. Does it just get sent out? The master goes over Dante and
Audio syncs up with the video in our server room right next door, and then comes into our live stream, and live stream sends to Facebook, and we've got an embedded code that goes to YouTube as well.
So how many production team members do you have on a Sunday?
So we always have to have one in here, a director.
They mix every service?
Mix every service, yeah. We could send the main board to this, but I think just an operator is a better way.
So you have one here, and then you have up in the front of house. How many do you have?
So we have typically 3 in front of house, sound, director, and lighting engineer. And then we have 2 camera operators, typically 2 or 3.
Okay, cool.
This is our this is our server room. This is where we get our fiber into the building, and our cable management. And this is where our cable management is incredible with this unit. This is where we patch in all of our SDI inputs and outputs.
That's a nice fancy Key Pro there.
Yeah, that's how we're keying audio and video. And our Behringer,
What's that doing?
that's for our online. That's for our lobby
Got it.
audio.
Well, guys, that wraps up this tech tour. Thank you so much, Matt. Dude, I'm inspired. Aren't you inspired, Adam?
Oh yeah.
By the Ableton automation. That to me, the guitar rig. That makes me. I don't play any guitar anymore, man. I just spending all my time making these YouTube videos.
You don't have to play as hard. I just do rhythm. But, yeah.
Dude, but no, it's amazing. I love how, you guys are just in an awesome place as a church where you're flourishing, you're growing, you got the new building. You said you're already kind of bursting at the seams even in this new building. So it's just really exciting, encouraging to hear what God's doing here. And it's just exciting to see like the workflows that you've implemented. Like these are the things that we geek out about all the time. And to see it like click at a really flourishing church, that's really cool. So
Yeah.
go check out the website here.
CalvaryChurchFL.com.
Yep, CalvaryChurchFL.com. And again, I'm gonna put a shameless plug, drumbaffles.com. We're gonna make another video about it too, so you'll learn more about the drum baffles, but this guy doesn't like to promote himself, so I'll do it for him. But thanks so much, man. If you guys found this video helpful, please leave a like, subscribe, share it with all your friends, and we'll see you next time.